Hello all. Today we are going to discuss about sterility test. So what is basically sterility? Sterility means a process by which you remove all the microorganisms from a pharmaceutical product. So sterility test is basically a test that critically assesses whether a sterilized pharmaceutical product is free from contaminating microorganisms. According to IP, the sterility tests are intended for testing the absence of viable forms of microorganisms in or on the pharmaceutical preparations. Not all the products need to undergo sterility testing. Sterility testing are performed on the product which are directly coming in contact with your body fluids, which are coming in contact with your blood, or which are coming in contact with the direct wounds. So for example, sterility testing needs to be done on products such as injections, implants, syringes, ophthalmic preparations, ointments and creams, basically ointments which are to be put inside your eyes. Next are bandages which we apply on the open wounds, surgical dressings and devices, and the needles that are used for your syringes. Now what exactly is the meaning of sterility test? Now just like I am reading it, this test are based upon the principle that if microorganisms are placed in a medium which provides nutritive material and water and kept at a favorable temperature, the organisms will grow and their presence can be indicated by a turbidity in the originally clear medium. Now what do you mean by this? Now take an example of an IV injection. We all are performing sterilization on the IV injection, whether it is in-process sterilization or whether it is terminal sterilization. Now how can we be sure that the sterilization that we have carried out is perfect? So what we do is, randomly from the batch that we have produced, we select a few, that number is also provided by IP, BP and USB. We select a few vials of that IV injection, and the solution that is present inside that IV injection is placed inside a nutrient agar plate or a nutrient agar broth. Now if that vial that we have selected was contaminated with any microorganism, that microorganism is getting a very conducive environment because of the nutrient medium that we have provided it. So ultimately it is going to lead to turbidity. So basically at the end of the experiment, turbidity indicates that your product in that particular batch fails your sterility test. Okay, so basically the interpretation of results is based on the assumption that contents of every container in the batch, had they been tested, would also have given the same results. Since every container cannot be tested, a sufficient number of containers should be examined to give a suitable degree of confidence in the results of the test. Now just like I said in the previous slides, all the containers that we have manufactured cannot be subjected to sterility test. It's very obvious. If we subject all the containers to the sterility test, we won't be having any batch at the end of the testing, because sterility test is a kind of a destructive test. We cannot regain our product back. So it is not logical to subject all the containers in a particular batch to sterility testing. So IP has suggested few methods by which you can select how many containers are to be subjected to a particular sterility test. So if you look at the table, if you are talking about parenteral preparations, okay, if your batch size is not more than 100 containers. I repeat, if your batch size is not more than 100 containers, then from that 100 containers you are supposed to select 10% or 4 containers, whichever is greater. Okay, now let's take another example. If your batch size is more than 100 but it is not more than 500 containers, so somewhere between 100 to 500 if it is your batch size, in that case you have to select 10 containers out of that batch size to perform your sterility testing. Okay, same way consider an ophthalmic preparation. If you have not more than 200 containers, you are going to select 5% or 2 containers, whichever is greater. Likewise, you have selection of number of containers for surgical dressings and devices and even for bulk solids. This selection, I repeat, is according to IT. Okay. Now we have selected the number of containers. So for example, if we have a batch size less than 100 containers, suppose for example we are selecting 10 containers out of that 100 batch. Okay. Now that 10 containers that we have selected could be of 10 ml, 100 ml, 200 ml. How much volume or quantity of that material is to be used to perform the sterility testing, even that needs to be decided. You cannot randomly select any amount of the container size to perform your sterility testing. So this table tells you how much quantity per container you have to use to perform your sterility test. So for example, if you are working with liquids which are less than 1 ml, so the injection vials that we get in the market, which we have to break open and then take it inside your syringe, those can be less than 1 ml also. So if you are working with an injection vial which is less than 1 ml, you have to use the whole contents of that container to perform your sterility test. Take another example. If you are having a quantity somewhere between 1 ml to 40 ml, so in that case you have to use half the contents of each container, but it should not be less than 1 ml. Okay. Now if your container size is greater than 100 ml, so you have to use 10% of the contents of the container, but not less than 20 ml. Okay. So likewise they have suggested for you how much should be the quantity of the liquids, how much should be the quantity of the solids, how much should be the quantity of the semi-solids. Now, selection of the culture media is very important when it comes to sterility test. Now there are 3 media that are available. So first media that is called as fluid thioglycolate medium. The composition is given in the table. So it is called as a fluid thioglycolate medium. So if you observe the table, it contains an indicator which is called as risazurin. So if you have attended my previous lectures carefully, you will come to know what is risazurin. It's a oxidation reduction indicator. It turns pink in the presence of oxygen. So this particular medium is primarily used if you are expecting that the contaminant in your product is aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. So I repeat, fluid thioglycolate medium will be used for aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. Second media, that is according to IPBP and USP, is your alternate thioglycolate medium. The difference between the fluid thioglycolate and alternate thioglycolate is this one contains no agar. Still it will be used for aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. Third one is your soybean casein digest medium. Now this particular medium is specially used if you are suspecting that your contaminant in your product is a fungi. Okay, so again a highlight is this culture will be used for fungi and as well your aerobic bacteria.